Welcome to Beyond Our Focus. I'm Stefan, this is Amanda, and this is Would You Blank If Blank Were the Consequence. Today is Thursday, November 8th, and did I say this is breaking present? Did I say would you? I'm good. It's like everything went too smoothly. I have to question it. Today's Would You If question is coming from a listener. From YouTube, I believe.
Yes.
Because he's been commenting on the YouTube comments. So if you looked at any of those, you'll know what the question is already. We have changed it slightly to better fit the Would You If format.
Yes.
And make it a little bit better, a little bit easier to discuss.
I feel like he was slightly pressured because somebody decided to just haul out and start calling everybody out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Our last What's in the Box.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The somebody.
I don't know who the someone is.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I'll let you know if I see them.
You do that.
Okay.
Call them out. Anyway, read the question.
You nearly killed them. But anyways, our question, slightly changed of course, is would you become an AI, so would you become artificial intelligence, after death if you could remain with your loved ones?
Yes, if it gave you that chance to stick around and hang out.
So if your choices were pretty much infinite nothingness, or
according to what your belief system is,
whatever magical place you go to, or burning inferno.
Yeah.
Would you choose that, or would you choose to become an AI of sorts to remain with your loved ones?
Yes. And this question comes from whom?
This question is actually brought to us by Kuran Keo, which is strange to me because I'm used to seeing it Kuroneko. But
I can't answer why, who, when, where, what.
I don't know either.
Maybe the gentleman will inform us of why.
Maybe. We shall see.
We shall see.
If you don't scare him away. Anyways.
I'm just happy. See, calling out people, we get things done.
Oh, so threatening people works. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. This is exactly what I'm saying.
Children, do not follow this man. Okay, that sounded creepy.
Now we're getting into creepy territory. This is bad. But don't associate me with
AI. Okay. So.
Well, that's according. There's also the. We are copying your consciousness.
Yes.
Or we're uploading consciousness.
Essentially, your body is gone. You cannot touch anything. Your brain has been destroyed. You are now just a thing. You are now...
But how do we want to think about it? Do we want to think about it as in you got uploaded to something? Or is this essentially... Or they could both be one and the same. Are we copying your consciousness? Because according to the phrasing, it sounds different accordingly. You're either uploading what you would normally think of your original consciousness, or you are copying someone's consciousness from their brain. So therefore, in a way, they are not the same person. They are a copy of said person.
Well, it really depends. I think going back to their original question, like when they were typing in the comments, they wanted to point out heavily that the original you is gone.
So we're going to go with, this is a copy of you.
Yes. So essentially not everything's going to be spot on anymore. Like there may be things that you forget when your brain's destroyed. So essentially when you copy stuff, it is not exact. When you copy a file, something's going to go wrong eventually. Or when you copy a piece of paper, if you're like me when drawing and I try to copy something or I try to redraw something, it's not going to look exactly like. There's going to be small.
Coming soon. Or at this point, already out. Second one coming soon. We're not 100% sure, but we're pretty sure.
You need to stop.
I'm just saying. Hoping for the best here, okay?
We need to... This whole living in the future thing is just playing with my brain.
I know, it's weird. It's weird.
See, already we're messing. I don't know if I can be an AI, okay? Okay, so essentially you are being copied.
Copied, and we just determined what we're going to.
So whatever product is being sent to your loved one after you die is not going to be 100% you.
Right, that's fine. So we're going to say, I think how we discussed it was, this essentially will be a service. This will be something they'll say, hey, maybe if we want, you signed up for this before you died.
Yes.
Because you can't make the decision pretty much after you die, unless your loved one did, and it's like, who knows?
It is in your will.
Yeah. This is going to happen. All right, they take you, this is a service. You have said, I think we did like, hey, you have a tablet. Yes. So therefore you download the app, you bring in your loved one. It's like, all right, this is the person, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You go through your app, and then you have that person again. On your tablet, they are officially the tablet.
Yes, they are. They have become the tablet. You are the artificial intelligence that runs that tablet.
So it's like we'll say you can see them with the camera, because that makes sense. You can hear them because there's microphones. And you can speak to them because they're speakers.
Yes.
But that is it. You don't require food, of course. You can't taste anything. You can't smell anything. And you can't feel anything. You have no feeling, no touch, no anything.
Yes. Even though there's touch screens, it's just not the same.
I don't think it'd be quite the same.
No, they can sit there and poke you, but you're not going to... like,
so we're just going with, you have a voice and you can hear your loved one and see.
Yes.
So it gives you at least some meaning to existence at this point.
Yes. Essentially, I think your loved one is going to get more out of it than you are, because
of course.
You're just a consciousness.
You don't require a lot at this point.
Yes.
At this point, a good conversation is all you've got.
Yeah. And I don't know. Would you still be able to learn stuff, or is it just kind of like, eh? Like
I don't know. I would actually assume you would, because even a computer at this point can learn.
Yeah.
You can figure out things. You can acquire more data. And if you can't acquire more data, then are you really a copy of yourself?
Would you?
If you can't remember the conversation you had 5 minutes ago, this isn't very interesting.
But you wouldn't know because...
You wouldn't, but they would. It'd become pointless at that point.
Well, essentially, I also wonder, like, as far as becoming this consciousness, would you be able to enjoy things? Like, say, hey, I gotta go to work. Like, your loved one's like, hey, I gotta go to work, but I'm gonna set you up here. Here's some TV, or here's some, here's some music you can listen to. Do you still enjoy things, or is it just...
I would almost say yes, again, because you'd have to enjoy spending time with that's the whole purpose
being
of this.
That emotions are just neurons and stuff.
I say yes, again, because, again, if you're becoming this, it's essentially just your brain going forward.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we know that's where feelings and everything else come from, is your brain. So I would say, yes, you'd enjoy this. You'd have to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, what's the point?
The
real question comes down to, in the end, are you willing to become this after death?
Yes.
Would you personally say, yeah, especially if you're religious anyway.
Yeah.
If you think of a higher power, if you believe in a heaven, and this kind of circumvents that completely.
Yes, essentially you're saying my body and stuff. Well, then that goes...
And it also says, do you have a soul?
Because that's the other thing, though, is that essentially, if all it is a copy, then technically, if you are religious, you can still be like, well, my body's and stuff resting in the ground until the Lord and Savior
But can you personally cope with the fact that a version of you or copy of you is left? Can you cope with that? Do you think that's worth leaving behind, this copy of your brain inside this tablet for your loved ones?
Well, I think that, in a sense, that would be as far as you thinking about your loved ones. Because it's like, honestly, if you're like, well, when I die, it's just, I'm going to be buried in the ground anyways, I might as well leave something behind for them. But then, at the same time, it's weird, because you have to kind of think of yourself as two different people. Because it's like, the you that was is gone. But this new you is still going to feel, it's still going to think, it's still going to be like, chilling out on a countertop waiting for the... Like, could you imagine being forgotten in the backseat of a vehicle for, like, ages? like your loved ones they've gotten past the grieving stage, and so it's like, I'm going to go off to the beach, and you're like, okay, take me with you, and then you get left in the backseat, and you're like, well, like, do you yell at them when you come back? Like, and then they hit the power button, and then... It's like, I guess you got to be okay with... You pretty much, essentially... Yes, the old you is now dead, but can you live with the fact that there is going to be some part of you that is now at the mercy of whoever you leave?
Very much the mercy of this other person.
Yes.
You're leaving, I mean, your life will completely depend on them completely for everything. They will leave, or they'll come back, or they'll just throw you in a closet forever.
Yeah, suddenly that hit me like a lost puppy. Like, that hit me like a lonely, lost puppy. Could you imagine, like, you're just chilling on the couch or a countertop or a closet or in a box in somebody's attic? Just like, well, because it's not like you could just be like, well, I'm going to go self-terminate. Like, how do you do that?
Can your computer program self-commit suicide?
Like, can you download a virus? Like, just kill me. Or, like, what if someone stops charging you? Like, do you just run on an eternal battery, or do you literally have to be plugged into a wall? Because if someone forgets to charge you, then what do you just die again?
Right.
Like, what
I would say the device dies. You're being uploaded. You're an app, essentially. So, essentially, you don't die. You would just be, the device would power off until it powered back on. I mean, you would probably...
Then what if it never
you would say,
back
well,
on?
You would say you would be in darkness. You would be nothing. There would be nothing there, which would suck severely.
And then you literally can't die, because then it's like...
Or you could say when the app is closed or the device is off, it's essentially like you being asleep.
Well, then you would just be in eternal sleep anyways.
Yeah,
so.
But it's better than being awake in eternal darkness. That's pretty bad.
Oh, that would make it horrible. You're just like, do-do-do, singing all these random shit things to yourself for the rest of your life. Like, do-do-do-do-do-do.
Babe Shark!
Oh, God, no. That would be like a solid, I love you guys, but no.
Again, I think it's more of the go to sleep. Let's go with that. If the app isn't up and running, or the device isn't on for the app to be up and running, then essentially you're not there. You're asleep. The device is asleep. You're asleep.
So the question is this kind of leads into like a lot of questions we've been asking. And when you, because like would you want to see who comes to your funeral and stuff like that? Because essentially this is like, how are people going to treat you when you're gone? Like, your body's not there, so you officially become dependent on someone. Mm-hmm. But if they suddenly treat you like last year's Christmas gift, and you're now the iPad that the children play with, like...
well, the thing is, do they depreciate? Do they not think of you as a human anymore?
Yeah.
Because you're not a human anymore. So therefore, do you become devalued, as in you're just a thing? You're no longer a person. You're no longer a consciousness. You are a thing.
Or would you essentially become a moving picture from Harry Potter, and they just put you up on a wall and, like I think about it kind of how I have Nook's ashes. Like, I have them up on a bookcase with a picture next to them, and that's just where she sits. Mm-hmm. Like, so essentially, is that kind of what you would become to somebody? Like, yes, they can talk to you and stuff like that, because I mean, like, after Nook passed, I found myself just commenting random things when I was leaving the house, like, hey, see you later, stuff like that. Would you just be sitting on a bookcase somewhere for the rest of your existence? Or would
try
you
to be decent because you don't want to piss off the spouse and turn you off forever?
Or would essentially, like, I think for the first amount of time during the grieving process...
It'd be great in the first part, but again, like you said, once you moved on, once you kind of get used to the idea of this, or you get used to the person passing, again, do you become a thing? Do you become this thing that isn't important, that, again, maybe, hey, we hang up on the wall and we pass by, doing good, awesome, move on.
And it's like, it's even worse though, because it's like, I think especially if the person you go to is a spouse. Like, essentially, wouldn't you want them to eventually move on? So it's like, it'd be kind of awkward if you're like, hey, you marrying that new dude? like,
well, that's where you pass it on to the kid,
Yeah.
or whatever, or Uncle Fred, or whatever. Hey, you hang out with this guy now.
like, or would you finally, like, is it possible to have that discussion with them? Like, sit down with them and be like, I want you to move on. It's okay to shut me down. Like, I'm ready to go again. I think you're ready to go. I think you're ready to move on, and it's okay to let me go. I'm already in the ground somewhere.
It's not okay.
It's not okay?
Not okay.
You'd rather be passed down to the children?
Whatever needs to happen. Something else we discussed before we turned the camera on is, okay, we've come up with this awesome technology. It is something that's happened. If we've been able to copy the brain and stick you into this thing, and you have sight and you can hear, how long will it take before eventually we come up with a way to stick this consciousness into an actual walking, moving, robotic body?
Chappie!
Chappie! Exactly. Or the episode of Black Mirror, Be Right Back. Imagine if you were in a body like that. Then you become a lot less of a thing if you're an actual moving, physical thing.
But I think that would, conversation-wise, that's interesting to talk about. But as far as the original question...
No, this is not the original question. This is saying, hey, if you're a copy, maybe no matter what, I hold out in hopes that this will be something at some point will happen that I can move to that.
Well, then go for it.
For future hopes.
Yeah.
Not that, hey, no, this technology's here yet. But it will be here at some point. And we even know at this point that it will be. Look at, Boston Dynamics.
Yeah.
They're doing some pretty cool things with robotics. Some pretty insane things with robotics.
And it's like, considering that this is a copy of yourself, so it's like, I mean, that it'd be cool to walk around in a little robot body. Your arm falls off,
essentially,
you put it back on.
even if it is a copy of yourself, it's, at that point, how do we...
It is the only you that exists.
It is the only you that exists, but how do we define consciousness? How do we define a person, the being?
Yeah.
If it's a copy, okay, sure, it's a copy, but it's still a consciousness. It's still someone.
Here's the other thing, which is kind of going a little bit off topic. It's kind of a bunny hill over here. Is being that there's a copy of you, what stops this company from copying you again?
They could.
Like, how do you know there's not more of you out there now because you've copied your consciousness to this program? It's like the people who are scared of doing the 23andMe because they're afraid that eventually, later on in life, there's going to be like cloning and stuff like that. There's going to be like cloning of pretty much organs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And eventually you're going to have to go to them to get replacement parts. It's going to turn into Repo Man.
Hey, it'd be some really cool stuff.
But yes, people are actually scared of that. They're
the
thinking...
thing is, come on. You give your DNA and your blood to hospitals and doctors all the time. The person you're concerned with is the 23andMe people?
There's actually people that are highly concerned that... whoever... Is it Google that runs it?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know. But they're afraid that this company is creating an entire catalog of all the human beings in the world.
Again, come on. You give your DNA to massive amounts of blood and everything to so many doctors and stuff. Oh, yeah. Come on. There's so many other ways that could go. The one person you're really concerned with is the 23andMe people?
Yes, apparently.
Oh, God.
Yes, I find that hilarious.
All right, well, we're going to have to start wrapping this up because we've already gone 20 minutes. This one is a very fascinating conversation.
We'll just have to...
I say this needs to carry over
to what's
in the box.
Okay.
So we can discuss it further. And we're taking... What's his... I don't know the name. Kirby. Kirby. We're taking Kirby's question. And it's going to go into 2 episodes.
Okay. So Yes, we definitely like this one. We're definitely going to move into this one with what's in the box because I love robotics. I love artificial intelligence.
Oh, this is cool.
Yes. So as far as this question goes, would you become an AI after death if you could remain with your loved ones? What would be your answer?
Mine would be yes, of course.
Mine would be too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some downsides,
Oh, yeah.
but there's enough upsides for me, and because of my non-religiousness, I very much go with the yes, of course. If there's an opportunity for me to stick around in any form after death, I'm doing it. Period. Unless it's again, if we go with like almost the torture device method of this, it would be no.
You're just floating in space. If Sandy decides to just turn off the device and you're just left there for the rest of eternity.
But if there's a chance, even remotely kind of thinking about being happy-ish after, I'm in.
Mine is like I have of course like some little spirituality thingy, but my whole entire thing on this topic though is mine's a dead set yes because even if I have some sort of religious view, spiritual view, soul view, my body's taking care of that over here. This is just a copy of me. Like essentially, someone has put the little copy icon. I'm moving over.
What's the name of it? Oh, that Netflix show. I know I've told you about it. That they have like chips in the back of their neck, but their consciousness pretty much is at.
Yeah.
If the body gets destroyed, they just move the chip to a new body. What was the name of it?
Is it carbon? Carbon.
Altered carbon.
Altered carbon. Okay.
What a cool show.
Talk about that and what's in the box. Okay, but yes. As far as that goes, mine is the yes, because once again, any kind of spirituality, anything I have, that's the body. I am essentially being copied to something else, so it's not me. But it'd still be cool because I get to linger around and hang out with people and be put in somebody's attic.
But we're going to pass the question off to y'all.
Yes.
Of course, as always.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
we really enjoyed this one.
We did very much enjoy this question. We altered it slightly. But we've had a good discussion, and it will continue further into this week's episode of What's in the Box, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow.
But yes, definitely, I hope we did you justice. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation as much as we did, and if you have more, or if
I think this question originally came through on What's in the Box comment, so we know you listened to that,
so
you can hear more of it there. Otherwise, I hope everyone else enjoyed it, because we did.
Yes.
As always, I'll post this question on a Twitter. If anyone feels they want to go to that for any reason whatsoever, you can vote there.
Positive vibes. Positive. Anyways, subscribe.
Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, dislike it if for some reason you didn't like this topic. But otherwise, as always, you can reach me at Stars Untraveled. You can reach Amanda at KZPup. You can reach the show at Beyond Our Focus on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And as I mentioned earlier, we should have some other content popping up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and, of course, on YouTube. It should already be up.
Yes.
But we're not 1,000,000% sure, but I'm about 95% sure it'll be up already. On next week's episode, we'll talk about it more. But till next time, long days and pleasant nights.